Some brief notes on the 9.3. This is the first generation 9.3, essentially a carryover from the 900. There were some revisions to the bodywork and interior. It included side airbags in the seats, and I believe it was the first car to get a 5-star in-cab rating. There was also revisions to the bodywork when it was made stiffer. There were also revisions to the steering suspension, as one of the criticisms was its handling. So elsewhere, it was the last of the Saabs to have the H engine, the old B series, which was very well received. And the engine itself came in various forms, but the one here, the 2-litre SE turbo, came with 185 brake when new. So anyway, here we go. Hi folks, as I said, this is Adam and this is South Guy Paranormal, and I thought it's about time I had a little chat about this. Now, a few of you are aware this was purchased a little while ago due to my soft spot for Saab convertibles. Previously owned a 900 in a nice bright yellow, and unfortunately that met an untimely demise. Since then I've hankered after another one, and obviously a soft top, but this time I wanted, the last one was a 2.3 4-pot. It was a non-turbo version, still good enough, but I did fancy a turbo, which this is a 2-litre SE, which is the turbo. As described in the description, it gave you a brief insight into the Saab 9.3. And so how did I come about this? Where do I start? Now, obviously you guys are already familiar with my Triumph, my Thunderbird. You see it quite a bit. My Saab 9.5 estate, that's my dog's body. You see that? I mean, I've literally done the Billy Jasper content with my Saab 9.5, so you're familiar with that. This came in as a project, and I'll tell you how this came about. I was nosing around for an early 9.3, which this is the NG 900 shell or shape, which followed on from the actual 900. It's basically the same body shape as the 900, just with some revisions that I sort of briefly spoke about. And this came up on eBay. I was having a nose around just to see what it was about, and weirdly I saw two red Saab 9.3 2-litre SE turbos. The other one was up for £1,000. It was I think it was a Cat D or Cat C, and the work had long since been done to that. It had a certificate from the proper engineer certificate to show that it was all roadworthy and everything. That was actually looked in really good condition, to be honest. It had a vegan body kit. Yeah, it did look the works. You know, obviously the only thing that knocked it was a write-off back in around 2006, I believe. So I had half an eye on that, but I also saw this, and this was located up in Hitchin, and I thought it was up for $450. The guy listed that it was basically a project. It does need work doing, and I will get on to that. And I thought, okay, it looks interesting. All right, you know, it's in the pecking order of my vehicles. It's down there. Obviously, the Saab's my Saab 9.5's my main transport. The Triumph, whenever the weather's dry, and up until recently, the CBR was my hack, but that's a story for another day. So, in terms of priorities for needing transport, this is down there. This is like this is an ongoing thing. So anyway, I saw this up for $450, and I thought, okay. One bid went in for it, and it was up to like $460. We took it up to $460. I thought I'll have a punt. I'll chuck in a highest maximum bid of 510, thinking, as always happens with eBay, when you get to those last sort of couple of minutes, things can go a bit bonkers, and you know, my bid will get cancelled out with half an eye on this other one. It didn't. I put my maximum bid in at 510, and it actually stopped at 470. So the highest bid that it was sitting at was my bid at 470, and that's where it stayed until the end of the auction. So guess what I then had to do? Go to Hitchin, pay 470 quid for this. I really did not expect that to happen, but you know, excuse me, it's Southend Seafront. This is a bit of a common occurrence, blues and twos. Yeah. So yeah, as I said, I got this at 470, which then meant I tore into that bargain, as it was my highest bid, and yeah, so off to Hitchin I went, and yeah, it drove back. The engine is one of its, I'd say, two redeeming features. This has done 167,000 miles, and the engine I could barely hear. The turbos whistled perfectly, it pulled like it should. So that side of it, there's a couple of jobs which my Tech 2 diagnostic has flashed up, which will be in the pipeline, but not, I'll talk to him about that in a minute. So yeah, I drove it home, got my day's insurance on it and so on, drove it home, little issue. There was no issue, to be honest, apart from it pulling to the right, and I'll sort of talk about that in a sec. So yeah, I got it home, and then that's when I had the chance to inspect it. Now the guy wasn't joking when he said it needed work. So have I in fact bought the cheapest Saab 9.3 in the country? And there are reasons. So we're going to get onto that next. So in this light, it does actually look quite deceiving. It does look like a reasonably clean car at a distance, and in some ways it is. However, when we get closer in, the one thing I must point out, it did have the window screen replaced, which was something, because it apparently did have a crack in it. However, when I come around to doing the bodywork proper, it's going to need to come out again because it's scabby up here. That will need to be doing, but as I say, when you look closer at the bodywork, you'll see that there are indeed marks where the top coating's coming away. At the front we have the obligatory non-working wipers. It's the least of my problems, to be honest. There's a lovely little crack in that headlight. I have got another one. Bits like that are pretty easy and cheap to come by. And then we move down to the bumper, which has got some insulting tape around it. There should be fog lights in there, there isn't. We come around to its better side, which is this one, because it's all one colour, and you'll see what I mean when I get round to the other side. Again, yeah, we've got paintwork going there, and if you look closely, there's a dent here, there's one there, and it sort of carries on there. Then we come around to the back. The hood I will get on to in a minute. As you can see, it's not quite sitting right. Does anyone else have an insane trouble with spiders this year? The aerial doesn't go down, although that is a bit of a common fault. I even had that with my 900. So yeah, you can see the badge is wearing away. Now the backing doesn't actually look too bad, to be honest. That looks pretty clean if I'm truthful. Again, apart from the paintwork on the top of the boot. So then we come around to this side. Now As you may notice, so far we have 17-inch wheels, apart from that one, which is 16, and that's a standard Saab wheel. The others are aftermarket. Now, I don't know what the guy was thinking of. I don't know what's happened to the front of this in any way, but that it actually put that wheel on the front, and he wondered why it pulled to the right when that's a different size to the one on the near side. So anyway, first thing I did when I got it home was just swap the wheels around, so at least it steered straight. Which once I'd done that, yeah, it was apparent that, you know, it steered dead and true, which, you know, I'm happy with. So carried on. Now, unfortunately, that white mark wasn't there, but not that I've got other things to worry about. The white mark that's down there now, I think some kind soul would put that on there because, yeah, I didn't have that when I bought it. So we come down, yeah, and as you can see, now, annoyingly, the wheels actually look quite good for this car, but I cannot find a matching one. Now, I can only assume that these were old aftermarket rims. I mean, they do look quite old because you can see all the scabbing on them and that, but they do suit it. Unfortunately, I can't find a new one, so we'll be getting a whole new set. I'm probably going to stick with 17s actually, because it does sit better on 17-inch rims. So yeah, there we sort of have it briefly on the outside regarding the bodywork. Now, when I come up to the hood, now one of the other things he did list was that the hood didn't work. I didn't take a closer look at the hood because, as you can see, there's a little bit of a gap. Look, get your fingers under there. And when I was driving it home, I thought I could hear road noise. Instantly thinking one of the windows is open, which they weren't. I thought, oh, okay. And then I sort of looked in the mirror and I thought I could see a gap under the hood. And as it turned out, it's this. Now, at some point, the hood has stopped working, obviously, because it's not working now. It's part of the reason it was so cheap. And once the rest of the stuff has been done and it's mechanically sound, which it broadly is, so there's a couple of issues I'll talk about, then it'll be a case of getting this hood working, because the reason why it's sitting there is because the latches on the tonneau aren't operating, but the hood as a whole isn't working. So that will be that's the sort of first job to do after the basic mechanical stuff has been done. So mechanically, the main issues I picked up is there appears to be a warp disc. I'm now getting a knock-in, which on recent discussion with my very friendly mechanic who looks after my cars and my bikes when I can't do them, we took it for a little run around the block just to try and determine what the noise was, and we think the CV joints are not in the best shape. So that again will be another job. That will be like the first job that gets done to this will be that. As soon as he's got some free time, first thing to be done will be the offside drive shaft and the brakes. So we'll get them sorted out. So then after that, I'm going to go inside the car in a moment. The boot's pretty straight. Boot's a boot. So once we got that straight, we're then going to move inside. Now, there's a little bit of a mess in here. As I say, this is a work in progress motor. Standard Saab affair, if you're not already familiar with these. The key goes in there. Now, this is a Saab safety feature because in the event of a crash, the key in a steering column could go into your knee. So Saab moved it here. This also has the added bonus of giving you a very good security feature. So although you haven't got a steering lock, although those are reasonably easy to break, to take the key out of the ignition, you have to put the car into reverse. So you take that out, the car is locked in reverse, which gives you one thing is the security feature, because that's a lot harder to break than a steering lock, and also if your handbrake should fail and you're on a hill, you're not going to roll. The downside is you have to remember when you get in to take it out of reverse before you start it. It does become second nature, believe me. With the automatics, which my 9.5 is, it has to be put into park before you can take the key out, but the automatics are slightly different ball game. Yeah, you sort of naturally put them into park anyway. The biggest fun I have between the 9.3 and the 9.5 is because the layout is broadly similar. I have to remember when I'm in both, when I'm in the automatic, I'm in an automatic, when I'm in the manual, I'm in the manual. So when I'm in the automatic, I've jumped out of this, I tend to go for the gears, obviously it's auto, and the same thing for this, I forget to do the clutch, which is fun at lights, especially with this being so quiet. Now, internal cosmetics. Now, starting from this side, I think that this has obviously had a new door, which has been reasonably hastily fitted. You can see the fitting's loose there. The only thing that works in this door is the window. The boot lock doesn't work, the electric mirrors don't work. I don't think that speaker works. So that's that one. And if I turn around, you can see that the bolster, now this is a common occurrence, the bolsters wear. That'll be another thing. And then if we go into the back, you can see there's a nice bit of duct tape covering up what I assume is a hole there. I mean, otherwise it's reasonable in there. You know, it could be a lot worse. I mean, the carpet's in reasonable nick. Only other thing is the dash as well. It's sort of come away and breaking. So yeah, we've got stuff to do cosmetic wise, and yeah, those head restraints as well probably need a bit of tidying up. So yeah, that's cosmetically. Now the other issue this has, once we've done the drive shaft and the CV joint, so once we've done the drive shaft and the discs, I'll then have to move on to the airbag light, because that's come on. Now when I plug my Tech 2 diagnostic in, it's telling me that it's actually the side airbag. I think Saab were probably the first company, or one of the first, to employ them. And not only that, but the Euro NCAM actually gave these cars a 5-star rating. I think this was either the first or one of the first to get a 5-star. So it tells you how much emphasis Saab still put on safety in these cars. I don't really want to test them, to be honest. I've done it once and it ain't great, and it's not good fun. So yeah, there we go. We're going to leave it there, and I will obviously keep you updated as and when things change with this car. And yeah, so thanks very much for watching. We shall see you on Monday for the vlog, and on Wednesday for the next episode. Take care. Bye bye.